Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh by Shemel Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the whole elect of Israel. Alright, this lesson I'm going to get into this article that says Russia's Putin predicts global chaos if West hits Syria again. So the West mainly being the United States, of course, and the President of the United States said that he was going to, he plans to hit Syria with bigger strikes soon, like very soon. So, the President of Russia saying this is a pretty clear sign, for all you that have your eyes fucking, covered with a blindfold every day of your life. This is clearly World War III, man, in the making, because allies are going to join the powers and they're going to go to fight. Alright, so I'm going to read through this article because this is the beginning of wars. And then look, anti-war activists and Syrians, so basically there's protests. And people are starting to realize that America is doing this propaganda and these false chemical attacks to start war. And people are going to rise up against each other. Race wars, class wars, civil war, world wars, trade wars. This is the beginning of wars. It's like Second Ezra says, which I can get after this. Moscow, Damascus. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned on Sunday that further Western attacks on Syria would bring chaos to world affairs as Washington prepared to increase pressure on Russia with new economic sanctions. In a telephone conversation with his Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani, Putin and Rouhani agreed that the Western strikes had damaged the chances of achieving a political resolution in the 7-year Syria conflict, according to the Kremlin statement. Vladimir Putin, in particular, stressed that if such actions committed in violation of the UN Charter continue, then it will inevitably lead to chaos in international relations, the Kremlin statement said. Meanwhile, United States Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley told CBS Face the Nation program that the United States would announce new economic sanctions on Monday aimed at companies that were dealing with equipment related to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's alleged chemical weapons use. On Saturday, the United States, France, and Britain launched 105 missiles targeting what the Pentagon said were 3 chemical weapons facilities in Syria in retaliation for a suspected poison gas attack in Douma on April 7th. The Western countries blame Assad for the Douma attack that killed dozens of people. The Syrian government and its ally Russia have denied involvement in any such attack. The bombings marked the biggest intervention by Western countries against Assad and ally Russia. French President Emmanuel Macron said on Sunday that he had convinced Trump, who has previously said he wanted to take U.S. forces out of Syria, to stay for the long term. The United States, France, and Britain have said the missile strikes were limited to Syria's chemical weapon capabilities and not aimed at toppling Assad or intervening in the civil war. Macron said in an interview broadcast by BFM TV, RMC Radio, and Mediapart Online News that he had convinced Trump to focus on the chemical weapons sites. Hard for us to do, but will do more damage to the United States. Hard for us, but will do more damage to the United States. So Yahweh by Shemel Shai, Yahweh is really pulling these strings, putting the spirit of war in America, man, and their allies. Alright, but reading on. Responding to Haley's remarks about the plans for new sanctions, Evgeny Serebrennikov, deputy head of the Defense Committee of Russia's upper house of parliament, said Moscow was ready for the penalties, according to RIA news agency. They are hard for us, but we will do more damage to the United States and Europe. RIA quoted Sarah Brennikanov as saying, in Damascus, Syria's deputy foreign minister Faisal Mekdad met inspectors from the global chemical weapons watchdog OPCW for about 3 hours in the presence of Russian officers and a senior Syrian security official. The inspectors were due to attempt to visit the Doma site. Moscow condemned the Western states for refusing to wait for the OPCW's findings before attacking. Mekdad declined to comment to reporters waiting outside the hotel where the meeting took place. Assad told a group of visiting Russian lawmakers that the Western missile strikes were an act of aggression, Russian news agencies reported. Russian agencies quoted the lawmakers as saying that Assad was in a good mood, had praised the Soviet-era air defense system Syria used to repel the Western attacks, and had accepted an invitation to visit Russia at an unspecified time. Trump had said mission accomplished on Twitter after the strikes, though United States Lieutenant General Kenneth McKenzie at the Pentagon acknowledged elements of the program remain. He cannot guarantee that Syria would be unable to conduct a chemical attack in the future. Russian and Iranian military help over the past 3 years has allowed Assad to crush the rebel threat to topple him. Though Israel has at times urged stronger U.S. involvement against Assad and his Iranian and Lebanese Hezbollah reinforcements in Syria, it voiced backing for Saturday's airstrikes by Western powers. Alright, you can read the rest of the article yourself. This is on Yahoo News, called Russia's Putin predicts global chaos if West hits Syria again. You can just look that up, and I'm sure there'll be other articles on different sites. But I hit the point, man. Alright, Russia and America are going to go to war soon here. But of course, other things have to take place, which, Lord willing, is very soon, and Lord willing, we're part of the elect. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. See, so hearing these rumors that we're getting, all these chemical attacks and then their actual literal strikings of Syria, and the big retaliation that Russia's planning. This is all things that need to pass, but the end is not yet, but it is real soon. For a nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. So nation against nation is race wars, and kingdom against kingdom would be like a war, like World War. And there shall be famines, which the upcoming famine that could be this month, Lord willing, is the famine of the word. Alright, and Lord willing that the internet is taken down this month or something. And pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. I'm going to skip down to verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So a lot of people aren't going to give a shit about each other, man. You're going to have families and brothers and sisters betraying each other. People killing each other for food real soon. Eating each other even. It's all in the scriptures, man. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Let's turn to 2nd Esdras chapter. I'll go to 15 first, and then I'm going to close out with the one that I was talking about. 2nd Esdras chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So the world, because the elect are out of the world in the mindset, right? For the sword of their destruction and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. Now that can be civil, class, or race wars. All three. It's going to be all three of them, because all three are more than. It's going to be like like I heard a brother say, and I've been mentioning it too. It's a good comparison. The movie The Purge. It's going to be like that, except 24/7, pretty much, man. People aren't going to regard each other. They're just going to kill each other and steal each other's shit and all that. All right? They don't give a shit about or they're not going to. If people during so-called Black Friday, which, goes back to slaves being on sale, like at discount prices, if they're beating each other up for TVs, what are they going to do for food, man? All right? For survival. Shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Alright? Let's go to 2nd Esdras. Chapter 16. I'm going to start at 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So that's the time we're in, man. Alright? So, this is a serious thing, man. You gotta endure and keep pushing. Really, this is it's gonna all end with America being destroyed. Alright, which I've made videos on that, and I'll probably make some videos, about that in these next coming days, because it's definitely the topic that's on the mind. But with that said, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of Israel. Keep pushing, this word, especially keep pushing this word, because that famine really could hit, man, this month, and we might get taken off the streets. So, shalom.